briefly kind of do a live stream about something that came up the other day in my PowerPoint for Data Pros. And that one did get cut short. So if you missed it, well, obviously it was recorded, so you can go back and look it up on LinkedIn Live. However, this time, if the settings are correct, I'm actually also now streaming for the first time on Twitch. Thanks, a big shout out to my friend Andy Leonard. Not just friend, I mean, podcast co-host, brother from another mother, you name it, man. He is the man. See, 2 minutes in, I'm already a bit off topic. So don't worry, I will be going back and kind of redo it, kind of refine it, because there was a lot more interest in that than I had anticipated. And I probably have some more of my coffee. So I'm not paid to talk about. There's a coffee brand I really like. They serve they have K-Cups called Wake the Hell Up Coffee. It's really good. And somehow, accidentally, I got the cannoli flavored. Yes, you heard that right. Cannoli flavored coffee. It's really good. Can't say enough good things about that. All right. So back to the topic at hand. I want to show you something. And I will pull up my screen sharing. Bear with me. So how's everyone doing out there today? All right. So if you're seeing this, hopefully, you'll see social selling index basically measures how folks are on LinkedIn establishing their personal brand. Who you engage with, and do you find the right people? Are you building relationships with folks? And so I'm not trying to humble brag here, but I currently rank at 79. That's actually not my all-time high. My all-time high is 83. But even at one of my lower scores at 79, I still rank 174 out of the 40,000, I'm assuming, sales organization individuals at Microsoft. You know, obviously the goal is to be number one, but I'm still in the top 1%. Yay me. And what's really cool about this is the context for this was the other day on my PowerPoint. No, it was my blogging. How do I blog so much? Video that's on LinkedIn Live. And basically I kind of showed my secrets for how I get so many blog posts done per month. And ultimately, I have a system, and I kind of shared some of that. I'm working on kind of polishing it up more and maybe exposing it to more folks just as an experiment, because I'm a data scientist, so I like science, because even if something fails and you learn something, you still win. And I think that actually holds true if you're not a scientist. All right, so the context was this. I had no idea this tool existed, the Sales Navigator. And this is one of the more kind of LinkedIn has as a free face, and this is kind of one of the upcharge services. Obviously, Microsoft owns LinkedIn, so as an employee, I get a lot of I get this kind of built in. But I was intrigued by this idea, and I'm not going to show any other screen Sales Navigator because it's actually live data, and there's probably going to be some PII in there and stuff. So I'm not going to show that, but I will show the social selling index. So I use this as a barometer of how well my posts are landing on LinkedIn and how far they're going. Now, obviously, since there's some PII at the bottom of the screen too. But basically, I like to see how well things are going. So you'll see that establishing my personal brand is doing really well. My highest score I've maxed out on is building relationships. And if you mouse over, should tell you what it is. Oh, there's a little slideshow that tells you what it is, like what each one of these topics is. And I should probably read through it, because obviously if I just find the right people and engage with insights a little higher, I'll be back in the 80s. So the story how I found about this was when I rejoined Microsoft, there was training on kind of social selling. And the idea of social selling is using the tools I have to sell. I mean, obviously. So it is really to use the modern tools that are available and really revolutionize the sales process. And the key here is kind of, this, since it uses LinkedIn data, it has all that data to kind of put that together. So I'm going to move this window to the side because it actually shows a real-time leaderboard. Whoops. Okay, that's not working the way I thought. Bear with me. Oh, if I shorten the window size, it's okay. There we go. Technology. Or, let's see if I can do this. Does that work? No, it does not. All right, so you'll see this is my weekly kind of score. It's been kind of 78.81. So you see I've been kind of, largely flat. I wish I had the ability to kind of go back and see more. But if you see, and this is the part I'm trying not to show. Yeah. There's a leaderboard, and it actually shows you kind of who's above you and who's below you. I probably be okay if I showed it, but I'm going to err on the side of caution. So the short of it is I can see how well I'm trending over time. And I'm curious, now that I'm doing LinkedIn live feeds, live streams, kind of every weekday, I'm still in the fence if I'm going to live stream tomorrow. I'm curious to see if that's going to go up. I noticed my profile views have definitely increased. So thank you. And I'm not sure how that schedule. Let me scroll down here. So this shows me how I do with my network. Oops, let's not reveal too much. This does show me how well I do across my network. You'll see people on my team, right? So this is basically people who I'm connected to on LinkedIn, right? That's their average score, 50. People in the technology industry tend to have a social selling or SSI score of 32. So I am sitting here at and on my team, it's 52. Now, I've actually given kind of like, lunch and learn webinars on how to increase your SSI based on what I learned. Because when I first heard of this tool, we were in this class and they were telling us, and the teacher was like, you should go in and see your score. And she's like, everybody kind of, did that. And they said, okay, who wants to share their score? And people started sharing their scores. And I'm like, I have 7. At the time, I think I had like 75. And I was like, is that good? And she's like, is that good? That's great. And basically, it's kind of like, the Robert Scobles of the world would have like an index. Basically, if you're a thought leader in an industry, you have scores in the 80s. And that's kind of what the metric was. The teacher herself had a score of 79. So she was I had, I'm not going to, this is not humble bragging, but the average was pretty much 50, 60, that sort of thing. So, and what's really cool here is I can kind of see how I stack up against folks in my network, folks in my industry, and people on that 40,000 people, Microsoft. So in this case, 174, I rank 174 out of 40,000 and change. And both these cases, I'm in the top 1%. So if you want to go check it out, if you have access to Sales Navigator, Pad. I got a new keyboard today. I mostly like it, but some of the Windows key is not where my muscle memory says it should be. So that's where it is. If you do a search on SSI, you're going to come up with Social Security type stuff, but that's basically it. If you have access to that, I think it's very cool. I've learned a lot in terms of kind of what. Oops. Am I blocking that? There we go. So that's kind of cool. Another tool that LinkedIn has is called the Leaderboard, and it's called Elevate, is the actual tool name, and it basically shows you where you rank in terms of how well your shares and your posts are coming So I will share this, but I have to screenshot it because there's a lot of other folks' names here. Now, I'm probably being overly cautious in terms of what I'm willing to show and what I'm not willing to show. And the reason for that is I don't have permission from these folks. There's a guy who's always on top. Basically, the top three people, well, top two kind of go back and forth between who's top two. But for a while, I was in sixth place, and you can tell, come on, where's my little snip tool? There it is. Come on. I'm screenshotting because there's a lot of things on there. So I am currently 20th in the company. There we go. I'm gonna get my monitor set up just right. So I'm currently 20th in the company, which not too shabby. And this is the engagements that I've had within the last, I think, 7 days. Just only measures LinkedIn, but not only that, only measures LinkedIn content that you've shared through the Elevate app. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But that's basically. I just want to do a quick live stream. Maybe I'll do one later today. We had a great time yesterday talking with Sarah Dutkiewicz about kind of her journey, in data, out of data, and then back to data. I thought that was really good. You can check that out. That was on LinkedIn Live. Primarily, I think I also streamed it to YouTube. One of the cool things, I use a service called Restream.io. Really cool product because you can stream to multiple platforms, but you have to be very mindful when you're talking to the camera of exactly who is online. All right, so with that, I will stop sharing and sign off. And depending on my schedule, maybe I'll do something a little more technical later today. Thank you and have a great one.